For my entire life, I've been referring to defenestration as masturbation. I've also been referring to defenestration, masturbation, as defenestration. And all this time, whenever anyone's mentioned masturbating, I've thought, how could that possibly feel good? Why would anyone recommend I partake? And my whole life, I've resisted. I've said, that doesn't sound like something I would find pleasurable. It's not something I can imagine as pleasurable at all. People gasp. They tell me, masturbation is amazing. You must be doing it wrong. To not attempt at all is to avoid yourself. I don't masturbate, I said to them, and I never will, which usually ended those conversations, my certainty on the matter. I am a certain woman. For example, I've known exactly four women who have fallen out of windows. Eileen Anderson, a friend of mine from college named Terry, and Brooke Ramos. The fourth woman I knew who fell out of a window I happen to know very well because I am, at this very moment, currently falling out of a window. If you saw me from afar, you might not guess it was from a window I'd fallen, but perhaps a roof or a plane or the sky itself. Alas, it was a window, the one in question right there, just above my head, the one with people hanging out of it trying to catch me. Not that they're putting in much effort. No one has come flying after me, and I'm only about 4 feet from the sill, where there were a few potted planters stuffed with zinnias and other perennials, some of which I grabbed on the way down. An attempt to save myself, I imagine. I would have done better to grab the sill itself, but the plants were thriving in the sun, and they looked so alive, like I could grab that from them. You can't, I've learned. This is one of them. If I could figure out a way to drop it or let it go, I would, but I'm having trouble working my body at the moment. Like, I'm peeing, as you see, which clearly I wouldn't be doing in any other circumstances, as I've been known to be a rather formal person. I like wearing shirts with collars, buttoned up, and I don't burp for fun. And in such a wind as this, well, I guess it's more of a breeze. One I'm making with my body, like riding a motorcycle, but without the motorcycle. So exciting. But also relaxing, like flying. Well, I guess I am flying. It's not quite flying when you're falling, is it? I see the ground. It's fast approaching. The very same ground on which you walk, on which you feel so sturdy, that very same ground will break every single bone in my body and crush my face in so far, I'll have only one reconstructive option: to get a full, complete body transplant. Yes, a complete body transplant. New nose, new arms, new hips, new shins, new tits. This complete body transplant will be very expensive, but don't worry, I'll be able to afford it myself. I'm an artist, a very successful one. Maybe you recognize me? All the art I have made in my lifetime will be put in museums after I die. Before that, all of the art I've made in my lifetime will be hung on the halls of homes which look like museums. That's the kind of artist I am. You must have heard of me already. My name is Susan, the artist, Susan. For my entire life, I've been referring to masturbation as defenestration. I've also been referring to defenestration as masturbation. In other words, I used to think when people spoke of defenestrating, they were referring to putting their hand down their pants. And when people spoke of masturbating, they were referring to getting flung out of a window, like I just was. A few moments ago, by my great love, Louise. Louise? Louise! 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 Ah!
Peter, I was not expecting you so early. Your sister isn't even...
Hello, Louise.
Hello. You must be Irene's new wife.
I must be. Hello. Hi.
I have been handling raw beef and veal and pork. Please, come inside. My apologies, I am frantic and disheveled and unkempt. This is my studio apartment.
It smells delicious in here.
Really?
Is that a roast?
Meatballs, actually.
How delicious.
They are a favorite of everyone.
Very much so.
I ordered them from Val Salvio's on 8th.
The meatballs?
I didn't cook.
No?
I don't.
Oh.
Cook, no.
Val Salvio's.
Do you know it?
They win awards.
They do.
They
you
win
like it?
famous awards.
Congratulations to Val Salvio's. I'll have to send them a card.
The very famous awards are from a long time ago.
Their meatballs are to die for.
Would you?
Yes. I don't know why I'm telling you this.
Telling me...
That I ordered this food. I was going to arrange it on platters to make it look as though...
As though you'd cooked it yourself?
Yes, exactly, though I haven't. And now you're the only person who knows I didn't. Shit.
But I could lie.
Would you?
For all I know, you are a very good cook.
I have been told I am not.
But for all you know, you could be.
You're not wrong. Would that plan be okay with you?
Absolutely. It would make us very close, in a way. Are you thirsty?
The wine!
For all the raw beef and veal and pork you've been handling.
Louise. I'm Louise. I'm so sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Hello, I am Louise, Peter's wife, Peter, Irene's brother, Irene, your new wife. It's my studio apartment we've invited to you for dinner. Welcome.
Ida, yes. We know one another, Louise.
But we haven't met properly yet.
I'm Ida, Louise, your brother's sister's new wife.
I had a dog named Ida growing up.
Your apartment is incredibly beautiful, gorgeous.
I really loved Ida.
Where did you get your knickknacks from?
She always came when I called her.
And this wallpaper, which wallpaper emporium is it from?
I miss Ida every day of my life.
Wallpaper, Louise, which emporium?
Oh, you know, I can't remember. I would ask my grandmother, but she died.
Irene has told me all about this studio apartment and how your grandparents bought it from a catalog clipping for $1,000 and how they lived here for 40 years and raised your mother in this room where later you were raised, and how when your mother died, you inherited this studio apartment for nothing and you live in it for free and share it with, who do you share it with again?
Peter, my husband, Irene's brother, your brother-in-law, Peter.
To whom you are straight married?
And where in this awful city do you live, Ida?
How much is this apartment worth now?
I am not answering that. You have already invaded my privacy by mentioning the catalog circumstances, which are not my fault, for the record. I don't know why you're talking with Irene about me in such detail.
We're family.
I just met you.
But we are, Louise, are we not?
Let's get this straight before Peter and Irene arrive.
Yes, let's.
Irene is my husband's
sister,
which makes me your
sister.
No. I don't have any sisters.
In law, we are sisters.
sisters-in-law. Is that right? That's not right, is it?
Your husband's sister's new wife.
That's you.
And you're my new wife's brother's wife.
My wife's brother's wife?
Aren't you?
My husband.
I don't have a husband.
But Peter.
Who is my wife's brother and your husband.
And I am your husband's sister-in-law, which makes you my wife.
Almost.
No. I'm your sister?
It's all family.
Wine. No reason to wait for everyone to arrive to drink this.
No.
Wonderful.
It's very expensive.
Do you know when Irene is expecting to arrive?
She will be coming directly from her work.
Of course. You know Irene.
You do.
Yeah. She was at my wedding. She was the bride's maid of honor, meaning we were honoring her by getting married. Helped with everything I needed help with and let me complain to her. Without Peter around, hiding from how I looked until he was going to marry me, I had only Irene to complain to. She was my best maid, I mean.
Which?
Sorry?
When? When was your wedding, I mean?
Peter and I were married 6 months ago.
Congratulations.
It feels like yesterday, and forever ago, and like it didn't really happen.
Where did you get married?
In a barn.
On a farm?
In the city.
Which barn in the city?
The barn in the city that overlooks the river just beyond the ocean, which is, by the way, the sea.
Peter has told me such lovely things about you. He and I have had dinner before, alone. We put our napkins in our laps before the food came, and when the food came, we chewed while the others spoke. He is my brother-in-law, Peter, so we decided to get to know one another a bit better by having dinner. Peter said you have lived in this city your whole life. Is that true?
I couldn't attend your wedding.
It was extremely small.
I was on a business trip.
I hear you do important business.
Yes, I invest.
Interesting.
Very. And you?
Me?
For work.
Yes.
You?
Invest.
No.
It's true.
Peter would have told me.
He didn't?
That idiot.
I can understand why not.
Why not what?
He didn't tell you about my investing.
Well, I can't see why he wouldn't tell me.
I can see it.
Isn't that nice and special for you?
What do you invest in?
Art.
And they're artists?
And what do you invest in?
Oh.
Like I just told you what I invest in.
Which is art and they're artists.
Yes, and what do you invest in if you really do invest?
I really do invest.
In?
Things.
Like?
Like anything that is not art.
Like you invest in oil?
Some of my money is wrapped up in oil.
But not art.
Isn't oil a kind of art?
No.
Have you seen oil?
Yes.
Not the vegetarian kind, Louise.
I've seen oil.
I'm talking about the other kind.
Please. I've seen other kinds of oil before. I've seen so many oils before. And not all of them have been vegetarian, okay? Is this how you typically treat your host?
How?
Insinuating that I haven't seen many kinds of oil. I am incredibly well-read, Ida.
Yes, you look very well read. Your eyes, they seem exhausted. But the kind of oil I'm talking about, have you seen that kind of oil?
Which?
The kind that causes wars?
No. But that's a shame that you're wrapped up in all of that.
Why? You've never seen the oil I'm talking about. It's gorgeous, very sexy.
Huh.
You don't believe me?
Well, I don't usually find things besides people sexy.
And how would you?
You look like you would like art.
Do I?
Something about your face, the way it looks.
How it looks, or what it looks like?
What's the difference?
I can't believe you just asked that.
Well, then both.
You can't know one while also knowing the other.
Sure I do. This is my apartment. I know everything here.
You do.
What did you just say?
I said you do know everything here, Louise.
Have more wine. You are my guest, apparently. You can't say no.
This wine is expensive.
This wine is fine.
Will it go well with your meatballs?
Perhaps I should call Valsovios and ask. Hello? I'm wondering about a wine pairing. Okay, yes. All right, yes. I heard you the first time. I said I heard you the first time. All right, yes, very well. If it must be. Okay. Goodbye.
What did they say?
That everything goes with wine, Ida.
Your apartment is not at all decorated.
Especially meatballs.
Where is all of your art, Louise?
Ida,
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Say it again.
You've been pronouncing my name wrong this whole time.
Have I?
I clearly don't mind, do I? Because here I am, even when you've been pronouncing me wrong this whole time.
Did Peter say when he was coming?
Peter is always late.
Not to my dinner with him, he wasn't.
Then why don't you marry him?
I prefer his sister.
Don't speak about my husband like that.
Why not?
Peter is Irene in husband form.
How terrifying. Did he say when he was coming?
He is picking up a cake.
For dinner.
We will be having the cake he picks up for dessert when Peter comes.
And he just walks in when he comes?
For dessert, yes.
He missed my wedding to Irene. She was furious and has never fully forgiven him.
That idiot.
Peter didn't have dessert when we had dinner.
Just because he is always out getting dessert doesn't mean he always wants it.
Irene suspected you told him not to come. Did you tell Peter not to come to Irene's wedding with me?
I was at a business event that weekend.
That's what Peter said.
Peter came with me to my business event that weekend. He is also my assistant.
You two look alike.
Really?
I see it, you and Peter.
I've never gotten that before.
Well, I see it.
You and Irene look nothing alike.
Well, that's the whole point.
The point?
We try as a rule to not look alike,
Oh?
so we are not mistaken as sisters.
Sisters?
Many people assume we are sisters.
Because you look alike?
No.
That people assume you are sisters?
Somehow assuming we are sisters is easier than assuming we are
You
married.
think being sisters is easier than being married?
No, but it's an interesting thing, don't you think?
Being married?
Leaping from sisters to wives.
Not if you're told by one of the wives that the wives are wives.
No, it's a leap to think first sisters and then to have to leap to wives.
If you told me that you and Irene are wives, then you are wives.
Yes, but that's not what I'm saying.
It is what you are saying to me.
What I'm saying is that people prefer to assume Irene and I are sisters because assuming so in the first place makes the knowledge that we are wives a bit hard to get to when they are made to get to it, if they even are at all.
Why would someone want to make that knowledge hard to get to?
But do you understand what I'm saying, Louise?
You don't want people to think that you and your wife are sisters, yes.
I'm saying that it is interesting when people prefer to make belief difficult for themselves, when it is really just as easy as saying, I am going to believe this now.
Which is wives.
Yes, but the idea of sisters will always be lingering about.
Will it?
Or friendship.
Excuse me?
People like to call Irene and I friends.
You are friends.
Are you friends with Peter?
Peter lets me complain to him.
So you are friends with Peter.
In a way, I am not friends with anyone else.
Exactly. Irene and I are not friends with anyone else like we are friends with each other in a way, which makes us not really friends at all.
Well, I don't know. Peter is my husband, and he is also my friend. He was my husband first, and then we became friends. The world is cruel like that, but I've gotten used to it. Besides, I can't imagine why anyone would want to make it harder for them to believe something if the thing is standing right there in front of you, wanting you to believe it.
Funny how the mind works.
I don't think about the mind.
Well, that's the kind of thing I invest in.
Ideas?
Wives. Which artists are you invested in?
I should get that.
Irene will be late.
Someone just not.
It's not Irene.
Perhaps she's early.
Irene has never been early once in her life.
Like Peter, but it's already late.
I was early.
Were you?
By an hour.
Yes, that's why I was still...
With the meatballs.
Yes.
So that is not Irene.
No.
And it is not Peter.
We haven't had dinner yet.
Unless...
Peter never has before come for just dinner.
And here we are.
It's probably a neighbor. Peter is still out getting the cake.
Probably.
I didn't hear it if you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear anything.
Neither did I.
And neither did I. Like the meatballs.
My meatballs. They must be overly cooked.
They're already cooked. Remember, Louise? Remember.
No one is at the door, and I made the meatballs from Val Salvio's. More wine?
So your art.
Is not wine.
The artists you invest in.
I understood you the first time.
Where is all of it?
Oh.
You have no art here.
No?
Oh?
Oh! It's sold.
Really?
To people with wealthy taste.
Congratulations. That must mean you have wealthy taste as well.
It's complicated, but yes, I do.
Is it?
Complicated? Very. I was going to wait until dinner to tell you the story. It was going to be the centerpiece of our discussion if we couldn't find anything else to talk about.
Should we try to find some things to talk about that are not the story you want to talk about?
The thing is, I really love the story.
Why wait?
Well, Peter and I like to tell the story together. It would be waiting for Peter.
Well, we're already waiting for him.
Peter likes to do the voices.
Of?
The characters.
In your story?
Of my art and investing, and yes, well, it's something of a tragic story.
Will you tell me now?
Peter isn't here to do the voices.
I can do them.
You don't know the story.
Let me try. I can guess.
Very well. I used to have a friend.
A friend.
Yes, a friend.
And this friend?
Was my friend.
Stop bragging about your friend and tell your story.
She and I were very close.
Were?
We were very close, this friend I had.
How close?
Very, very close. And she and I would talk late into the night about her ideas.
How late into the night would you talk about ideas with your friend?
Are you going to ask questions or are you going to do the voices?
I'll do the voices.
Very good. Now, my friend and I had been very close for a number of years. No one liked her because of how certain she was. But that was what I loved about her, how certainly she took everyone, so much so that it scared them. It scares people to be taken certainly, you know? My friend took people at their word in a way which makes people unsure. No one is used to being taken so certainly. She was always making people worried if they weren't enough for her. Everyone wanted to be enough for her.
And do you get scared of being taken certainly?
Are you going to listen to me or what?
Yes.
Back to my story. My friend and I had been together as friends for a number of years, and we spoke often of her ideas, her hopes, even her dreams. She said things like,
I have ideas for these art pieces I want to make, and I hope they will turn out like this.
yes. Though she went into a bit more detail than that.
My desires are profound and terrifying, and if I tell you I'm worried, you won't love me anymore.
Yes. Though she was a bit more graphic, I suppose.
I want to take the drapes of my cunt and flay them open with clothespins, exposing my hole to the winds of time. And I want to truck my insides up my inside so I can house my fat fucking body inside my own uterine cloud for 9 months while I figure out how the hell I want to be mothered. Because I'm utterly unable to conjure any shit speck of an idea these days. I might as well...
Very good. Yes, that sounds just like Peter. My friend said things like that late into the night. She was very funny. She would tell jokes like...
I want to do something about climate change.
Exactly. And like...
I have an idea about how to reduce homelessness.
Yes, it's very funny. And early in the morning, over breakfast, she would tell me her dreams.
We were in a plane, me and the First Lady, which I was flying. I was in the plane flying the First Lady to Baltimore, and I was wearing pants. And while we were laughing together midair, she put her hand on my thigh and asked me what the next course was. And I said, of soup? And she said, of action. And as we turned to fly home, we never made it because I woke up with both of my arms asleep. What do you think that means?
Exactly. Well, that friend of mine.
An artist?
Yes.
Yes?
She died.
No.
Yes, last year in a very tragic way. But she also left me her life's work, which was all of the art she made in her lifetime.
Did she?
She did. And I've been selling that work since her tragic death last year.
Noble of you.
It's not noble. It's what she wanted.
Is it?
What kind of a question is that? You don't know my friend.
But what about her art?
I told you I sold it.
All?
Don't be silly. Of course I did. Because before my friend died, she made me the... And that's the end.
Executrix!
Do you have to run away?
Is it like 7:45? Yeah, probably. The dog's been alone for like 9 hours.
Hi, everyone.
Briefly, before we begin, I am instructed to introduce MJ, who will then introduce everyone else. Everyone, this is MJ Kaufman, incredible luminous playwright, teacher, inspirational to many young playwrights I know, and yeah, educator, wonderful, wonderful human being who we're so lucky to have here with us tonight. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Sarah. I now have the honor of introducing everyone on this stage. Well, okay, they're not in the order that they're sitting here. Very confusing. I'll start with Sarah.
You can't do it wrong.
Great. Sarah Blesh directs, writes, and develops original projects for theater, TV, and more. Some of these projects include Race Car, Race Car, Race Car by Callan Dana, Bailey Williams' Coach, Coach, Events, and I Thought I Would Die, But I Didn't, and Future Wife, Party in a Spreadsheet with Reed Tang. She has received residencies and awards from Clubbed Thumb, New Georgia, Soho Rep, Colt Core, Barn Arts Residency, and New York Society Library's Emerging Female Artist Grant, among others. Now on to Emma. And Sarah directed the excerpts we just saw. Emma wrote them. In case there was any confusion there. Emma Horwitz is a writer from New York City. If you didn't see her recent production, Two Sisters Find a Box of Lesbian Erotica in the Woods, co-written by Bailey Williams, directed by Tara Elliott, you missed out. She also wrote Mary Gets Hers, produced by the Playwright Realm at MCC, directed by Josiah Davis in 2023. It was a New York Times Critics' Pick. Her work has been supported by the Playwrights Realm, the O'Neill National Playwrights Conference, the William Inge Center for the Arts, Still Right, Mercury Store, The Brick, New York Theater Workshop, New York Stage and Film, North American Cultural Laboratory, and Williamstown Theater Festival, and New George's, where I met her, among others. She won the 2022 Chesley Bumbelow Playwriting Award for this very play. She co-edited 53rd State Press's The Occasional Number 3 and got her MFA from Brown University. Finally, to my right is Eileen Myles, who truly needs no introduction, but is a poet, novelist, and art journalist whose practice of vernacular first-person writing has made them one of the most recognized writers of their generation. They were born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and moved to New York City in 1974 to be a poet. They gravitated to the St. Mark's Poetry Project, where they studied with Ted Berrigan, Alice Notley, Paul Violi, and Bill Zavatsky. From 1984 to 1986, Myles was the artistic director of St. Mark's Poetry Project. They have published more than 20 volumes of poetry, fiction, nonfiction, libretti, plays, and performance pieces over the last 3 decades, including most recently Pathetic Literature and Anthology and A Working Life Poems. Myles is the recipient of a Guggenheim Fellowship, an Andy Warhol Creative Capital Arts Writers Grant, 4 Lambda Book Awards, the Shelley Prize from the Poetry Society of America, and a Poetry Award from the Foundation for Contemporary Arts. In the words of James Yeh, they make the act of writing both impossibly cool and effortlessly deep. And novelist Dennis Cooper has described Myles as one of the savviest and most relentless intellects in contemporary literature. Great. So, to start our conversation today, I wondered if we could just start diving in, thinking about intersections of art making, partnerships, creative partnerships, friendships, and care. And that's something that Emma has examined across many works.
That's true. I mean, I'll just give some context for the piece that we just saw in terms of that bucket of things that
great.
I told MJ about yesterday. One of the inspirations for this project was my discovery of Susan Sontag and Maria Irene Fornes's relationship. And so the play itself isn't like a rendering of that relationship so much as it is sort of like an ode to my interest in how how queer people find romances, sort of like between artists across time and imprint ourselves or feel imprinted by them. So that's just sort of like a little bit about where that piece was coming from and why that question felt interesting for us to ask.
But these two, of course, it seems like one was the straight sister of, and I mean they're not representing that relationship,
Right, exactly,
whatsoever.
right, yeah.
Though their discomfort was really hot and interesting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Discomfort, I feel like, is the hottest thing.
Yeah.
Or tension, really. And I think I was interested in that tension when I found their relationship by way of Susan Sontag's journals, and she was really, really hard on herself in these journals. I'm not enough for Irene. When Irene isn't around, I'm no one. I might as well go bury myself in a ditch, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I found Irene's telling of this relationship, it seemed much more reciprocal and much deeper than what Susan, or maybe not deeper, but much more simple, yeah. It's sort of simply love, as opposed to this kind of like well of pain and misery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're an interesting pair to bring up in terms of collaboration, because Irene wrote because of Susan's writing block. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I think there was jealousy underfoot after, a kind of jealousy that I was trying to excavate in this kind of piece. And I'm interested in that kind of like partnership of art and artists and jealousy and competition and all the whole bucket of what being together means, either creatively or romantically.
Well, plus you started off with this violent moment, which was like, I felt like that just kind of underlined everything. After it was like, so when is she going to throw it out the window? I mean, it's such a piece of art history, the going out the window.
Yeah, we were talking about that during this week. The image of a woman being flung out of a window or falling out of a window or et cetera, et cetera.
Taking a dive.
Yeah.
There was a moment when early this week we tried to stage such a benefit of being here was going, okay, should it happen in that corner? Should it happen in a large space made small? Should it happen across the whole span of the room? And I'm staring beyond you all at what is in fact a window, and it was so literal and so like oppressive in the space to have that present that we were like, actually, we can't look at the window. We need to have the window be an idea in our minds. It's too violent actually, and too obvious to just see it.
And I love the wordplay with defenestration and masturbation. So good. Because, I mean, who hasn't? I mean, the first time I ever saw the word defenestration, I just was like so puzzled and weirded out. And it's an obsessive word. Yeah. So to make those two words be in relation is really funny and silly and right.
And even the word masturbation, it's such an enormous word to describe something that so many people partake in on so many days of their life. It's such a regular occasion.
Defenestration.
Sorry, defenestration. Yeah.
And to set it up as a taboo, to have a character saying, yes. I won't do that.
Yeah, there are a lot of these women are drawing hard lines in the sand as to what they will do or won't do, who they are or who they aren't, which obviously sets up so many comic opportunities to do or not do those things that they say they will or won't do.
Yeah, I'm really sticking with the fun moment of wordplay of who they are to each other, of, sisters, brother's wife. Does that make us wives? Does that make us sisters? What is this collapsing of sisters and wives that so many queer female relationships are subject to, and curious what you think about that, Eileen, about this sort of searching for new language to provide space for the space that queer relationships occupy.
Searching for new language.
Or
keep going so I can,
okay,
find
great.
some way.
A sort of playing with the categories that exist and mixing them up and reforming them to try to find space for everything that a queer relationship can occupy.
Well, I mean, I think just sisters was being occupied, so completely different. I mean, that's such a like a given in any lesbian relationship. Yeah. The horrible gauze of the mesh of sisters being thrown over you like a safety net for straight people everywhere. And so the play with that and the familial stuff was fun and interesting.
Do you find yourself inventing new relationships, new language when you're in a new relationship? Or do you find yourself referring to sort of like calling somebody your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever, or your sweetie or your lover? Like, I wonder, I throw this also to Sarah, like how, or all of us, how we use each new relationship to kind of create a new like dictionary or vocabulary of language.
I always feel like it's a betrayal to my past lovers to use the same word. I do. It's like, even if they don't know, I'm like, it feels like I'm stealing from them.
But I want to know specifically. So, which words are you thinking of? Like meaning calling them
many
what?
Many of them are animals that I have been.
Okay. We're talking private language. Yeah, of course.
Oh, private language. Yeah.
Listen. Mostly animals.
Animals.
Chicken. I am currently in 2 relationships, and in one of them I'm a penguin, and in the other one I wouldn't call myself that. Because it feels like it's private. It's like that is the language that you have.
Wow.
Language is everything, is it not?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's actually a good question, if language is everything, because I find myself continuing to write plays which are texts, but they're texts for performance. And so at the end of the day, it is both my language and the actor and the director meeting one another in this kind of like nebulous area where it's both the thing I've written and then deeply not the thing I've written. And I wonder, Eileen, with your experience with both performance and poetry, how you think about what language that's being written for performance does differently than language that's being written for just private readership.
That's so interesting. I mean, I think that stuff written for performance somehow has to have an embodiment. It has to have a rhythm, so that it can kind of stand up on its hind legs. Whereas I think texts that are just really on the page don't have that. They sort of don't have a space so much. They're kind of information in a way. They're denser, and I mean, like I'm working with musicians lately, and it's so interesting to go into my work, and it's so clear what can't work to work with them. It's sort of like and also I'm surprised. In performance, I find out a lot about, I thought this was a great idea. This is a total dud, and I'm looking forward to something, and I think I could be completely wrong.
When you perform your own poetry, like at a poetry reading, do you choose poems because of how they'll be performed by you? Or is it sort of like depending on your own whim or what the occasion is?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix. I mean, there's things, it's because I think we all know this about performance. It's sort of like something could be received one way one night or in one situation, and the next time you kind of say something and you're like waiting for the laugh and it doesn't come. But there is a sense of things that get a certain response. So it's like they're planted in the set so that I'll know this safe space is, well, they'll like this. And then I can get weird over here and try something new. And
we were playing with that this week a lot. Where's Kelly? Hi, Kelly. Because when you have performers who are so facile, you're able to leave room for that kind of like improvisatory quality in terms of how you say something, and yet the play and its rhythms, Emma always says, it insists on itself, which is something I love about it. The language is so taut that if you add too much subtext underneath what you're doing, if it drips with sex or, the part of the first part of the play, our knowledge of that violence too deeply, then it crosses a line and becomes like totally boring. But if there is none of it, then it kind of falls apart as well. And so like the whole week was just sort of watching Kelly and Jenny do a dance, and it's that incredible thing of us sort of having to like do our best to not interfere in any way with them being able to be present. And it was really interesting to think about how you might rehearse that over 4 weeks. And actually there was a moment like day 4 when Kelly was like, I'm flashing forward to week 3 of rehearsal when we all want to die, because we've tried to make too many decisions about what things must be and how to keep them set so that the lights can be in the right place or what have you. But it's really interesting in something like this that has like both such rigidity and such freedom in that way.
I wondered, now I don't know anybody's real names. I know Louise,
Kelly.
Okay, so her Tony delivery, I mean, it was really funny. She would kind of go from shit to like a very kind of upper class kind of thing. And was that in the text, or is that
that's
something?
All Kelly.
That's all. That's what I was wondering, because intriguing and really.
But there is a kind of archness to the language, and there's a note in the beginning of the script that the language wants to feel like getting dressed up. Like the way we want to be delivering this language is like the Henry Mancini music that was playing, this sort of like, not a murder, but a murder mystery party. Sort of like the heightened versions of these things that we might be afraid of, or these people that we might meet, sort of cranking up the temperature. So it's not necessarily in the text, but I don't think Kelly is kind of like reading into nothing. I think it exists in the front matter of the play. I think it exists definitely in our conversations around the how of the performance. I think there's an element of style and an investigation of stylish language. Or I guess I'm always thinking about stylish language and language for performance as opposed to just the language of conversation.
And it bleeds into the way that we work. Like Kelly, when we were talking about what she should wear for the event, she didn't say, should I wear a dress? She said, should I wear a frock? And it just, I think that like when you have an amazing writer who has such a clear voice, like you are casting a spell in the whole process. Like you are creating the conditions, you're teaching people how not only to watch your work later, but how to make your work. And I would say like on the subject of artistic collaboration, like, this is a thing that Emma and I think very deeply about as friends, and it's something that united us as people, is like just really caring about having a good time and a fun time and a stupid time making things. The process of making them, having like joy and freedom in them, and creating a space of care. Like we said the other day that the most important part of this week was going out and getting pizza, of course, and drinks after a rehearsal with the whole cast, and just being like, oh, this is community. This is, like, that's the thing. That's what we're doing it for. And that piece of things is nice. It's nice and joyous. God damn it.
Well, back to another theme that Emma brought up a moment ago, competition in between queer artists in a creative relationship, in a romantic relationship. How is that, exciting, productive fuel? When is it destructive? Where's the line between those things?
Should I answer? I think I used the word competition and then I immediately regretted it.
Okay, great.
But I do think that it's an interesting, maybe the word that I would use is like
parallel ambition?
Co-impression, parallel impression. Like, what does it mean to, okay, so maybe what I mean is, what does it mean to write something for somebody? Like, what does it mean to write toward somebody's readership? And when that other person is also an artist, what does it mean to be written toward? And that exchange, that kind of symbiosis, or maybe that's the wrong word, but that kind of relationship is really interesting to me. And I think of lots of different queer art partners across history that I've taken lots of solace in. So I think about, Fornes and Sontag is like perhaps a prickly one. I think about Tove and Tootie, which is a very collaborative one. I think, I think about Gertrude. We were talking about Stein and Toklas back in that little white box over there. That is a really complicated relationship where you can't totally tell who's the person that's in power here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it Gertrude who is producing the work? Is it Alice who's facilitating, arranging, cooking, doing all the paperwork? Like I'm fascinated by that kind of relationship between two creative people, and then how you let that come into your art, how you don't resist that.
And it's so telling that, you and I have early bonded over a love of diaries and letters, and that is historically like how those exchanges have so often happened for women, and I love that that is the origin of this piece, are like two sides of that exchange that you describe, like both the private attempt to sort out your feelings, but then also as you say, like writing towards another person and letting that be potentially public to others.
When we say writing towards another person, is that meaning from the space of being in a relationship, writing something of that what do we mean when we're writing towards
like a gift to your partner, I think is what you mean.
Yeah, or like whether it's literal, like I'm going to write you a poem or I'm going to write you a play, or if it's more energetic, like
sensibility.
I want more of something in my life. How do I bring more of that into my life? As a playwright, I often think like I can if I'm making the world into being through my collaborations, then I want to make something that brings the kinds of people, the kinds of conversations, the kinds of questions into my world through that writing. Mm-hmm. And so you send these plays into the world like little ships, mm-hmm. like little glass bottles with little messages inside, and you hope somebody smashes it on the sand and wants to read it with you.
And then it's literal. It's like we had a room this week of 4 incredible queer actors working with us, and like mm-hmm. that is a version of shaping the world as you want to see it. It's like these little microcosms.
Actors, I think it's such a strange. They're so interesting. How do you?
So fascinating. No, but I'm endlessly fascinated by.
Me too.
Yeah.
How do you bear it? How do you, uplift it? How do you translate? And that they can't work without us, meaning us being writers, mm-hmm. And creating, giving them. It's so crazy because they're so full of things.
Totally. It's why I, for all actors in the audience, start writing. Like I just to like facilitate more tendrils of making, because and also I really honor the art of acting as a real art.
Are there many actors that write?
Many.
I think
Many.
Yes. So, and increasingly.
But
I find they make great writers.
Huh? Name some. All I can think of is like Sam Shepard, who was a so-so actor. But what if?
Emma, for instance, acted in her last play. Two sisters find a box of lesbian erotica in the woods, and I'm just thinking of that when
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Who?
Great.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I'm thinking.
Was she an actor first?
I think she wrote it as a vehicle for her performance life. I don't know. I think there's that whole genre of actors who are creating content for themselves because they don't want
Patti
to sit
Smith
around.
is that.
Yeah.
Patti Smith wrote for Patti Smith.
Mm-hmm. But it's interesting you bring that up on the subject of competition, because like this is something I think about so much in theater is like, certainly there's this question that we're talking about of like competition within artistic partnership, but I also think we are unfortunately often pushed to feel competitive across disciplines with one another, and that like in the sense of, you said like we write it's our thing that we wrote, and I feel really conscious of doing this kind of dance as a director of wanting to honor that the writer, this thing would not exist without the writer. That is a fact. And we can't have a room in which people feel disempowered from adding on to it. And like one of the things I adore about Emma as a collaborator is like she wants everyone to feel equally part of her piece, and yet there is also that thing that you get to do as a playwright and go, no, that's not it. That's not the world of the thing. And so like I think about it's, you know, the word competition has such a, it's even funny that it's like it's a creepy crawly word for us because no one, especially I think women, like we don't want to be perceived as competitive for many reasons, but like there is a push and pull of ownership, I think, in theater and a pressure to not claim it, and yet also a need to know that you had a part in it. And like I think about this especially in a development process such as this, where we have our actors contributing in these tremendous ways where they're not just reading the words, and I hope to not, you know, be a director who says, go here, do that. It's like we're asking them to actually say, when does it feel off in your mouth? When does the rhythm not work? And so like having that conversation about, how can we all kind of like have almost a competitive spirit of creating the play with like an attack or a kind of ferocity that is there, but it's not, I don't mean literally competitive against one another. Like I think that is a thing that we are really scared of talking about in theater sometimes, is like who owns it, and we are so scared. We like, it is ugly, the idea that anyone does, and yet, you know, it's a conversation when you start making something with other people.
Do you write?
Yeah.
I mean,
but I don't write theater.
What do you write?
I write TV and film.
Oh. Huh.
And a lot of you know journals, diaries. I think I write diaries. Like
yeah.
I think that is a form that should be
When
named.
you
are
writing diaries, what is your level of cognizance of their later organization?
Yeah, do I think about if they would be read?
Yeah. Or even cataloged somewhere.
It flashes through my mind, but I do my best to not change what I'm writing. And that's like,
wait till your work enters an archive.
Is your
then
work
it's
in
really
an archive?
fucked. Yeah. Yale has my archive.
Okay, we
and
have
so
to talk about
they
this.
have half the
you
notebooks.
said the word archive, which for Emma is zing, zing, zing. Yeah.
So your notebooks are sitting in a room.
Right. And so I've had the weird experience of a friend of mine, Ale Steiner, teaches at Yale, and so first she invited me to come visit her class. I was like, sure. And then she discovered my archive was there. So she was, why don't we meet at the library? And I went into this room, and there's all these boxes full of all my notebooks and all these people who had been reading them. And it was like, whoa. It was a sick, disgusting, scary feeling.
Do you?
And then you start to write funny.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's like being on the airplane and the person next to you is reading your notebook, except it's like you don't know who these people are. Yeah.
But so did you choose ones to send and keep some notebooks just for yourself?
Say that again?
Like, did you keep some notebooks just for yourself?
Well, yeah, the kind of fat of the present. You know, I sort of determine when that begins.
Right.
And so they have everything until there, you know.
But even in the past, you sent everything. You weren't like, this one's just.
And then later I thought, uh-oh. And it's too late. Because you can
Can't
say,
get it
could
back.
you kind of hold back that? And they were like, no, you're actually before the sale. You have to make those agreements. Like, it can't be read for 100 years after my death. You know, like you have to do that before.
Well, that's very generous of you. I'm appreciative that you put them out there for people to look at and think about. I think like the thinking through a writer's process by looking at their process, their literal process, is invaluable, and I really has become a real part of my own work, not in my own, looking at my own process, but looking at other writers' processes has been kind of like foundational in thinking about how do I get inspired? How do I track an idea over time? Like, one of the reasons I looked at Susan Sontag's journals in the first place wasn't because I was a big Sontag head, but was partially because I was like, I can't understand her essays. I'm having a really hard time parsing this, but I want to know this person, so I'll start reading these diaries. And then,
The diary. I mean, what is she? The line that I grab onto so much from the diary is, don't ever. How does she put it? Don't say anything bad in public about anyone from Harvard. I was like, what? I was like, that's like a
She has
legacy remark.
She has a lot of aphorisms in there.
Yeah.
There's one about like her legs looking fat somewhere. Like it's just
Oh, yeah, a lot of
from that to something like absolutely brilliant or about like women and murder. Like it oscillates really, really widely, and that helps give me permission as a writer to let my bowl of inspiration have a really, really diverse soup of things that I encountered on the sidewalk, things that I'm thinking about that are really existential, things that I lost from a person that's no longer with me, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But I think we're protected too, because those are edited journals.
Yeah,
we know
totally.
that there was a lot more pages of My Legs Are Fat. They just don't
Yeah.
want Susan Sontag's legacy to be like 99 pages of My Legs Are Fat and 1 page about Kierkegaard.
right.
It was
They got
just
it. They had
like-
to do the balance.
Yeah.
I just read Helen Garner's diaries that were just published recently. She's an Australian writer, and they're 800 pages long, and the way that they end with her getting out of an abusive marriage. And they end in the 1980s, and the whole book is pretty much about this. You're just like, it's this slog of listening to her talk about this man, and you're like, Jesus Christ, this man's so terrible. And I just thought it was so interesting that that was the way that they decided to edit it, and they were published, she's alive, and that it came to such like a round conclusion. I actually felt kind of irate about. I was like, I want the next year. I want it to end on something that feels like not momentous at all, whereas it felt like it had been sort of combed into a narrative. In this way, it was like, I felt gypped.
Mm-hmm. Patricia Highsmith's diaries are incredible.
Yeah, they're unbelievable.
I mean, I've read much more of them than of her, because they're so great.
They're really, really, really fascinating.
Yeah, she's a weird person.
Yeah.
There's
a really great article, I think it's in the Yale something or London Review of Books, I can't remember, but it is a piece written by her last assistant, basically. This young woman who had gotten this job and basically went to live with Pat and helped take care of her in her very, very old, grumpy, abusive age. And it's really worth reading. All of you here, I'll send you a link.
Wow.
But it really, I think she was looking out into the end of her life and thinking, what will my work reveal about me that I don't want it to reveal about me? Like, how do I want to? I mean, I don't think Pat was ever got to a point of bravery in her life, but I think she was sort of looking into the abyss of knowing that people would look at her work and she wouldn't be there to defend it.
I have a question, Eileen. Do you feel that your work ever got worse because of a partnership you were in?
Worse?
Yeah. Like, is there any writing that you look at and you're like, that was infected by the relationship I was in at that time?
Oh, God. I mean, only in that it was hard to write.
Yeah.
Yes, in that sense. My first girlfriend, she just sort of came over and just kind of...
Say no more.
Kind of stayed. And I was like... And suddenly, like, my desk was going out the door, and it was just, Though actually, she's how I started writing plays because of her, because she wanted to act. So I was
There
like,
you go.
But she didn't want to write them herself.
the only way I could write is if I wrote a play. So she would let me write because I was writing a part for her.
For her, right.
And so it was so in that sense, it was a real boon. Fewer poems, more plays.
Well, Sarah, have you ever had a relationship that affected your creative work?
That's where we were going, right?
Have that in mind. No, I would say no. I don't think so. I feel like not sure yet. I'll have to look back and let you know later. I think it's usually about not writing, but generally I feel like if you're in a relationship and you're not writing, it's either really great or really not great. That's probably why that's happening. Not an in-between.
I think I have the experience, if I may share, of
Go for it.
Thank you. Of having like a maniacal, membrane around me that is always cognizant of. Like it's a very protective membrane. So no matter what relationship I'm in, it's kind of like the writer membrane that
You're in the womb.
I'm
always.
in my
That's
own
good.
womb.
I envy that.
And I really, I think like really seek to protect that like that membrane and to if I'm not writing, it can't be somebody else's fault. It has to be because of something that
Very
I am-
healthy.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, very healthy.
And I'm nothing if not the healthiest writer in New York City. I say
Evolved.
married to another playwright who's sitting 20 feet away from me. Yes, which we can talk about at another time. I'm making direct eye contact with Bailey.
Well, you know, I'm thinking about in an intimate relationship, there's a way of sort of like taking care of someone that is like protecting them from themselves or from like poor choices they might make or whatever. Do we think that carries over into creative collaborations? Like how do you, when you're working with a playwright, Sarah, protect them from themselves?
Oh my God, I think it's so important. I mean, I think that like the older I get, the more I think of directing as a kind of like caretaking, and that's why it can be really tiresome sometimes, is because you're like, I'm managing people's feelings, and it's something I love about it too. But I do feel like with playwrights, but I think we do that with each other. Like hopefully that's an even exchange where we're both supporting each other during tech, and you know, like some of my fondest memories with playwrights are like almost making their, you know, thighs bleed in the back of the house watching something that's going poorly. Yeah, and so I would say I think it is important to keep people from changing. Like oftentimes I would say saving a player from themselves is usually like making a needless edit. I made an edless because they're like getting anxious and moving towards production or something. It's like wanting to preserve the thing. That's why I feel like it's important to have like a really clear sense of what the piece feels like. I try to like almost preserve a womb of my own around my first reading of a play, because I'm like, I remember the state I was in when I read that, and then when I'm in rehearsal or performance, I'm able to be like, does it feel like the way that felt to me? And usually when something's wrong, it's like it's different from that, and sometimes that can even be like the writer is doing that thing, and it's like, oh, it's starting to feel not itself or something. I mean, I feel like an amazing thing about watching, I mean, I have felt the privilege of being close to Bailey and Bailey, Emma and her wife Bailey, who are both amazing writers, and like a piece of that has been cool has been watching them. I mean, I just love the phrase writing towards, like them writing towards each other, and like, you know, I think about how cool, I think often about how theater historians will like chart their work and look at them like.
You literally write together?
No.
No. Okay.
No. We don't.
Because I know screenplay writers
No,
do
no,
that
no.
all the time. You
Well,
don't,
you have
don't.
co-written things, but they do not.
We have co-written. We co-wrote Two Sisters Find a Box of Lesbian Erotica in the Woods, which.
How did you do it?
It's a great question. Bailey is shaking her head, going like this.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
I think to the point of competition, not uncompetitively playing games with ideas. So saying, I have an idea for something, and saying, okay, great, let's go both write versions of that idea and come back together and see what it was about that idea that we clearly were both interested in or excited by.
But then what do you do with the two versions? You
Then
merge them?
I think it is a matter of. I'm also looking at my friend Claire, with whom I've written many a thing before, and I would say that with Claire, I find that we are often writing inside of the same sentence together, and Bailey and I are usually merging or arranging things that each other has written across the whole piece. Am I getting that more or less right? Yeah, I think so. Great. And then I think sometimes it's also like tactics, like recording ourselves doing something for an hour and then reading the transcription and saying, okay, let's take that recording and squish it into something that is sort of like alien because it went through a transcription software in order to be written, which is now not either of us, but...
Is the transcription software AI?
Is it? Yes.
That's scary.
Yeah. I'm not...
I don't want to talk about AI.
Okay. I'm not...
That's a hard line for me.
It's old stinky AI.
Old stinky AI as opposed to new stinky AI. But I do think that in terms of like writing, well, when you're writing together, you're doing a thing that I think that many theater makers do when they work together, which is you're trying to dream the same dream, which is impossible. So how do you get your toes to the edge of that impossibility and say, we're going to get as close as we can, we're going to get an approximate distance, but we're not going to get all the way there, and that's actually good. We should be, reveling in this imperfection. And I think that that's really, at least my experience of writing with other people, is saying that the imperfection is the thing that we're going for, not the perfect coherence.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I have to say, I feel as in awe of directors as I do of actors. I mean, because I think that you're enacting something, right? You look at a text and you imagine the spatial qualities of it. It's a whole other it's another language.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to watch Sarah work. I don't direct, no. And it was amazing. On the first day, Sarah scanned the entire room and did 10 experiments in, I want to say, like 45 minutes of where is this thing taking place. And she very quickly said, this isn't going to work here, or that's too much here, or that's not enough here, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like watching somebody exist in space on a completely different plane than you and I exist in it. Where is it potent? Where is it fallow? Where is it abundant? And I don't know what she's thinking about, but she clearly has an opinion, and I think that is...
Well, there was a moment early on this week where we tried an experiment, and Emma was like, that was great. And I was like, it was not great. No. And like usually like that would be bad directing. It's like, listen to the playwright, they know. But I was like, no, that was great because it was the first time we did it. And if we do it again, it will feel like a gimmick.
Yeah, I really liked the gimmick, and Sarah was very insistent that it was a gimmick. And I now can see what the gimmick was, but I was sort of
I was
spellbound.
like, it'll be showy. No, it won't be itself. Yeah. What was it? It was using the real door which doesn't sound like a gimmick, I'll tell you, but in a space this enormous, it created a very satisfying click-clack of Kelly's heels walking across the space to answer the door, which would have been great, but then they also would have to walk back. And it was like, it just created this whole math that was gonna interrupt the rhythm of Emma's play, which is so taut. And it's like, actually, if we had put in this pregnant pause where we watched a gorgeously sashaying Kelly McAndrew walk across the space, and we all would have been mesmerized, mind you, but like we would have been out of the play. We would have been looking at how I directed Kelly to walk across the whole space.
But it wasn't just that one experiment. We did it that door, we did that door,
we did
bathroom doors, we did around these bends, we did every door.
There was a whole day where I was like, you guys, the point of this week is figuring out whether there's a door.
Yeah.
And it felt like the end of the world, but that's also what happens when you trust the text. Like the text, especially with this play, like often when you're working on a new play, you're like, how do we fix it? Is the subtext that feels bad to the writer, but is sort of the vibe sometimes. But with a play like this, where I'm like, I just adore the play, I know the play works, it's like, how can I not fuck it up? How can I let it be what it already is? And so like with that kind of thing, it was like, oh, we're adding like a music or something that isn't in it and is ruining it.
Interesting. Wow. I know it's to you now.
Okay, great. Well, I'll
What
just
next do you have?
keep talking about things I'm thinking about from this presentation today. I'm thinking about how Susan's body of work is separate from Susan after the defenestration, and that it's something that other people can invest in, similar to oil, and that that whole sort of segment where things that can be invested in like oil, they become beautiful and sexy and scary and complicated, and I'm just thinking about that with regard to arts that are less like that, like theater and poetry and writing. It's harder for them to become objects that other people invest in, but maybe in some ways they do. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not sure I understand the comparison. You're talking about what we just saw,
Yeah.
and the objects that were in it and how we feel about those things, and then you're comparing it to other.
I'm talking about, so the character in the play,
Right.
Susan, her body of work after she falls out the window. It's Louise is the executrix of her body of work and has sold it, and other people are investing in her art, which we don't really learn a ton about in this excerpt. And I'm just thinking about.
So you know so much more than I do. So I was like, really? Wow.
So I'm just thinking about that, what that means to have.
Like art that is tactile versus art that
Yeah.
is sort of fundamentally ephemeral, or.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about that this week because it isn't named what kind of art it is. And it's funny because, you know, this is one of those tricky plays where when you start talking about the details of it, it kind of all falls apart. Like when you're like, oh, well, was she a painter? And actually it's like when you get too far down that road, then you're like talking about, you're not actually just doing the play. You're like, it becomes sort of like, and then in childhood, she, you know, and that's dangerous. But I feel like that was another thing that we were looking at and talking about this week is the pain of, your art, the greatest pain of all actually is your art not being valuable to somebody else. Like that's akin to them not loving you on some level. And so like those two things being paired is such a key part of this piece is like, yeah, that she comes back and it's like, do you recognize me? But perhaps more deeply, where's my art?
Yeah.
There's no art in this room. Yeah.
And that, like, there's a point in I guess it is in the excerpt we read that she says, there's nothing, oh no, it's later. She says, there's nothing to make art out of here, Louise. And it's like, it felt like, wow, that's like the most devastating thing you could say to a person about the space that they live in, or about themselves. Like, you don't inspire me. You disagree?
No, I'm.
Oh no, I was looking at Eileen's face.
I was just thinking of girlfriends whose apartments made me feel that way. I was like,
It's not hot.
It was kind of like an Airbnb, or you never moved in and you've lived here for a few years. It's kind of a scary feeling. You know, then suddenly you realize the burden that was on you all the time, you know, because there was something.
To be the aesthete, or like that you're providing like
Yes.
the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Though it was not kind of spoken, but it was constantly. Anyway, yeah. I was the investing thing was very interesting. The economic structure of it, that language was very funny. I feel like everybody laughed. It's like lesbian. Everybody laughs at the word invest. You know?
Yeah.
Because what the fuck does that mean?
Like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like what are we talking about when you're investing in a painting?
Right.
Like, what is the what is the value? What is the capital value of art? Like,
Yeah.
in economy. Like, it just, I think.
Well, the first laugh line in this play is Susan saying, "I'm going to be able to afford it, and don't worry, I'm an artist." And everyone goes, ha, 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 ha. She'll never be able to afford it if she's an artist, stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
Huh.
Great. Well, that may be a lovely note to conclude our conversation.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming, everyone.
If anyone would like to invest in this play,
We are not
Subtext.
so against investment.